Welcome back to the RIFF podcast, or if this is your first time listening, welcome. My name is Travis. I am a lover of all things rock and heavy metal, and I figured for this episode I would talk about the new Judas Priest greatest hits album that's coming out. I actually don't remember when it's coming out, but I'm recording this on April 22nd. You're going to be hearing this at a bit of a later date. And so the thing that I wanted to talk about with this is, well, Judas Priest has been a band for over 50 years, and they're releasing a new greatest hits album, even though they already have a bunch of greatest hits albums. And so I figured I would review the track list of this new compilation and judge whether it is a good introduction to the band or if it's just a cash grab, which there's not too much wrong with a cash grab, but in my opinion, something like this is kind of unnecessary. Or is it? That's what we're going to find out. I'm going to use some studio magic to convert myself over to the Judas Priest websites as well as my Spotify to show off the track listing of various other Judas Priest compilations, and let's kind of compare and contrast them, all right? So, all right, and some movie magic later. We are on the internet and we are looking at all the different variants and all the information that's out about this Judas Priest compilation thing. So, as you can see, I'm using my Opera GX. You can get directly from the Judas Priest merch store. You can get it on black vinyl, CD, and picture disc vinyl. And also, Walmart sells an exclusive. Actually, no, this is the Walmart version. Walmart sells the blue vinyl. Maybe other retailers do as well. And then it looks like Amazon sells an exclusive red vinyl. So, in case you're interested in that, I like colored vinyl, so it's pretty neat. Now, I guess I should get this out of the way. Let me select the black vinyl here and pull up the cover art in detail. Is it AI? I don't know, personally. I'm looking at it. It does have that metallic shimmer that a lot of AI-generated imagery kind of has. I try not to call it art because people get very touchy about that. But, it's one of those things where if it was AI generated or at least partially AI generated, I wouldn't be surprised. But if a real artist did it, hey, then it kind of looks neat. I mean, Judas Priest always has really cool looking monsters and robots and stuff like that on their album covers. So this guy looks pretty neat, even if he is slop technically. I'm willing to admit it. Cover art looks okay. If it's not AI, if it is AI, I mean, that kind of sucks, but I mean, that's a greatest hits album, so like, I'm not expecting the best. So let's review the track list. We've got on the vinyl, we've got You Got Another Thing Coming, Breaking the Law, Painkiller, Hellbent for Leather, Turbo Lover, Electric Eye, Crown of Horns, Living After Midnight, Heading Out to the Highway, and The Sentinel. That was really cringe, but fuck it, we're doing it anyway. This is an okay track list. I mean, obviously it is some of the band's best songs. Only 10 though, kind of disappointing. But actually, as I have found out, the CD has more. So it also features Lightning Strike, Beyond the Realms of Death, Rockarola, Nightcrawler, Better by You, Better Than Me, which is a Spooky Tooth cover that got him in a lot of controversy back in the day, and Diamonds and Rust, which is also a cover. So honestly, the CD track listing is not bad at all. It's a pretty good compilation. The only problem that I have with both the vinyl and the CD track listing is that there's only one song on each that is past the Painkiller era. Actually, no, there's two songs. On the CD, there's Lightning Strike and Crown of Horns, which Lightning Strike is from Firepower and Crown of Horns is from Invincible Shield, their most recent album. But the vinyl only has Crown of Horns, no Lightning Strike. So that's kind of disappointing. It would have been cool to see. Obviously, people have their opinions about modern day Judas Priest, especially albums like Nostradamus. But it would have been cool to see something from Redeemer of Souls, like Halls of Valhalla at least would have been a cool ad on here. But I understand there's only so much space on a CD or on a vinyl especially. So I could see why they made some creative liberties with the track listing and kind of try to stick to the 70s and 80s material I get that. That makes sense to me. But for someone that's just getting into the band, I don't think this is a great representation of the band's entire career. As far as their sound goes, because I kind of judge greatest hits albums by multiple criteria. One, are the songs good? Two, do they showcase the band's whole range of sounds if it's necessary? I mean, if obviously if it's a band like Motorhead, we don't need to really pay much attention to that. Or is the greatest hits representative of their entire career? And I mean, they nailed the first part because all these songs are good. The second part, eh. I mean, Beyond the Realms of Death is cool. It's a good ballad. I believe Diamonds and Rust is also a ballad as well. So, you know, and Turbo Lover is Turbo Lover, more synth-driven hard rock. Yeah, but it's not really representative of their entire career because it's missing a whole chunk of their discography. Would have been cool to have something, like I said, from Redeemer of Souls or Angel of Retribution, or at least more songs from Invincible Shield or Firepower. But again, I understand certain space exists. But even then, why have it just one vinyl disc? Why not make it a double LP and have twice as many songs? Have 20 songs. And then, split the CD up into two. Obviously I understand the manufacturing costs and stuff like that. There's plenty of reasons why they've chose this specific track listing, for sure. I get that. But I don't know, man. It's okay. If you're a hardcore Judas Priest collector, then I would say buy this if you want. If you absolutely have to have every single thing that Judas Priest ever presses on wax or on a disc, then by all means get it. But if you're just a new fan, I think you can do much better when it comes to Judas Priest's other compilations. And that is what we're going to be talking about now. So let me open up my Spotify, and wouldn't you have it? I've got the entire discography of Judas Priest pulled up right here, except for Jugulator. That album is still not on Spotify after all these years. Kind of crazy, if you ask me. But I don't know. Let's just go over the discography. Obviously, we're going to ignore the studio albums and all the various editions of those. And we're going to mostly ignore live albums because most people... live albums are kind of a more niche thing, I guess. Maybe to some people they are. So the first one that immediately sticks out to me, and I was doing a little bit of looking for this, so I'm not like rambling on about at this. Honestly, if you're going to get into a Judas Priest greatest hits album, this one is probably your best bet. Metalworks 73 to 93. This has a whopping 32 songs, 2.5 hours of music. And just going through a quick rundown of the track list here. This is honestly a fantastic 2-disc set of songs from their 70s, 80s output. And some songs from Painkiller, of course. So, but if you want something that has some newer stuff, then I would say check out this one, Reflections 50 Heavy Metal Years of Music. Now, this one's a little bit, it's kind of got an odd setup because the first 6 songs are studio tracks, and they kind of seem to go from, early to late 70s material to some 80s stuff. Fever and Eat Me Alive are from, Fever's from Screaming for Vengeance, Eat Me Alive is from Defenders of the Faith, and then All Guns Blazing is from Painkiller, Never the Heroes is from Firepower, and I believe both of these first 2 songs are from Sin After Sin, I think. Actually, maybe you don't have to be able to be wise as on British Steel. But we're not going to look it up because it's funny that way. And it's got a bunch of live versions of songs. But honestly, I have this on vinyl, actually. I actually bought this compilation. These live versions are awesome. So, and they definitely show just how good of a performer how good of performers the band are in all these various years. 1978, 1979, 1981, 1991, 1988. Yeah. And honestly, if you're gonna listen to a Judas Priest greatest hits album, listen to Metalworks, listen to Reflections. The other ones, these other ones, you really don't need like single cuts. There's some interesting track choices on these because I believe on this one it's all like songs that are released as singles. But yeah, that's honestly really all I have to say about this. Like I said before, if you're a hardcore collector, get the new compilation. If you're not, if you're not all that worried about it, again, this one is the best way to get into Judas Priest. If you're not already into Judas Priest, I mean, if you're listening to a metal podcast and you haven't at least heard of Judas Priest, I don't. I guess everyone in your life has failed you, including the internet. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but I'm going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed this episode or got something interesting out of it, leave it a like. Follow me on Instagram at RIFF Media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the Spotify podcast. That's about it.